Well, this week we are in for a treat. We get to hear from my dear friend Tamara Bennett of Southern Adornments. She comes on the podcast and shares with us, I can't even tell you how many amazing golden nuggets for your business. One of which is to get to know your ideal follower and what their struggle is. That way you can start filling in the blanks for them by answering their problems. They will keep coming back to you as the person who is just two steps ahead and who will move them forward in their journey. Let's listen in and learn from my friend, Tamara Bennett. Hey, my friend, it's Melanie Ferguson, your host of Creatives on Fire, the podcast where I hope to inspire you to create a profitable six-figure following online. So turn it up and listen in to amazing stories of success, along with behind-the-scenes secrets and valuable tips from, you guessed it, Creatives on Fire. All right. We have another Craftathon coming up right around the corner. If you are not familiar with the Craftathon, it is an amazing 48-hour adventure for your online business. So it is where we gather 54 expert crafters to present projects online to the public. This is hands down one of the fastest ways to grow your audience to a six-figure following. And you do not want to miss out on the next one. It is going to be Saturday and Sunday, June 5th through 6th, 2021. I encourage you to check out all things Craftathon at craftathonpresenter.com. And I'm excited to see what this does for your business. Join us on the inside. I'll see you there. Welcome back to the podcast. And we have an amazing guest this week, Miss Tamara Bennett from Southern Adornments, to share with us some secrets that she used to grow her following beyond the six-figure mark. So Tamara, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself and your business, if you don't mind.
I'm a door hanger artist. And for those that may not be familiar with what a door hanger is, I always laugh and say it's not the little do not disturb things that hang on your hotel door. It is a beautiful wooden cutout that hangs on your door, just like you would hang up a wreath. And so it's a very niche market. And I teach women how to not only paint these, but how to make their own and cut them out themselves. And they become masters of the power tool and the paintbrush. And it's really fun because a lot of these women have gone on to start their own businesses, teaching paint parties and selling these.
How exciting and different. So you actually took something that you're doing and taught others how to do it.
Exactly.
So what did you think made them be attracted to you and want to know how to do what you're doing?
I think it's just a really approachable type of art, right? So I have always considered canvas painting to be a little bit intimidating. But it's a big white board and it's like, well, it's just a big white square. What do I put on it? And you feel like you have to be able to draw something in order to even get started painting. But with door hangers, you could just start with a simple shape, like the shape of an Easter bunny. And you don't have to draw a bunny's face on it. You could paint it a color and put polka dots and be done. So you can make it as simple or as complex as you want. So I feel like for the beginner crafter or artist, it's a very approachable craft. And it's something that you could quickly improve your skills at and begin to sell these products to other people or even begin to teach. I know I personally started teaching them at local paint parties before I even really considered myself to be a good painter, because all I had to really be able to do is provide the supplies and some brief instructions.
So you feel like somehow you made it look easy.
I hear that all the time. Everybody always says I make it look so easy. But I think the struggle in the beginning is that, well, I always hear, I can't even draw a stick figure. How am I going to be able to paint that? And so I kind of took that first step out of it for them. I began creating digital templates that they could download, and I taught them how to trace it on the wood themselves. So no longer did they have to be able to draw an Easter bunny before they could cut it out of the wood. They just had to be able to trace a template. Just like with sewing, you have a template that you use. You can do the same thing with wood.
So let me ask you this, because I know that our audience is saying, well, what about growing your following? What does this have to do with it? But I'd like to get down to where this works, the magic. So basically, you took something that you enjoyed, you went public online with it, and you attracted a certain audience that then saw how easy it was, but they still had a struggle, and you figured out the struggle and you answered the struggle with a solution. And then boom.
Yeah, exactly. That I feel like is the magic key to growing an audience and to making money online or in any job that you're doing is you have to figure out who your customer is and what their struggle is. And so I was hearing constantly, I can't paint because I can't draw. Okay, I solved that problem for you by creating templates. And then shortly after that was, well, I don't even know what colors to choose. I don't know where to start. So I solved that problem for them by providing a color list and teaching them step by step exactly what to do. And then when they wanted to start their own business, well, I don't even know what kind of supplies to take to, you would constantly hear these, but I don't know how to blank. And once you can figure out how to fill in the blank for them and how to answer that problem, they will keep coming back to you again and again because you are now the person who is 2 steps ahead of them and can help them solve their problem and move them forward.
Wow, that is amazing. That is exactly the exact, oh my gosh, golden nugget key, whatever you want to call it. That's amazing. So, when you decided to do this and you started was it a Facebook page, right?
Yes.
What was your system, or did you have a secret formula? Did you have like a workflow that you followed every week, or how did that look?
So in the beginning, I was just playing around with it. Facebook Live was so new, and I just started getting on there just to share a quick tip. And I thought that I was just engaging with people, and I thought that I was doing it for me because I was at home with 2 little kids. I didn't have much of a social life, and I was tired of crafting by myself. So turning on a camera, I wasn't so scared of being on the camera as much as I was. I just wanted somebody to show up, right? And I wanted them to comment, and I wanted the social piece of it. And so I think that was also a really key detail in why I grew as much as I did, is because I was there to be social, and it's a social network, right? Facebook is meant to be social, and Facebook likes it when you get engagement. And so I would ask their advice. Which color should I use? Or what do you think about this technique or that one? And if I could ask a question, then my audience would engage. And if I could make them feel seen and appreciated for showing up, that made them want to comment and want to come back next time. Because how would you feel if you showed up at somebody's front door and you knock, you say hello, and nobody comes to the door? Nobody acknowledges that you showed up on their front porch, right? Well, that's in person, but online, it's kind of the same thing. If I show up on your Facebook Live and I comment and I never feel seen or heard, I'm not going to feel inclined to come back next time and do the same thing.
I agree. That is a great analogy. So let me ask you, once it started kind of snowballing and growing, how did you respond to all of them?
It gets difficult to keep up with all the comments, but I do try to, because I'm teaching and painting and talking at the same time. It's one of those skills that you just have to build up to be able to read comments and focus on the craft that you're teaching as well. But I would just try to say the person's name. I feel like that's very important. You can't just respond to the question and say, well, I see a question here. You have to say, okay, I see that Melanie's on here with us and she's asking us if, what kind of paintbrush she should use for this technique. And so I feel like saying your name is important, making you feel seen and heard. And instead of talking to the group, I'm talking just to Melanie in that moment. And so it makes that person feel appreciated and valued.
Definitely. I agree with that with the name. There's something sweet mentally about people hearing their name being called. So let me ask you, Tamara, when did you know that you were going to be able to hit 100,000 followers when you were just climbing?
It's funny that you asked that because before I even hit 50K, I had this mindset block that I thought, okay, I know door hanger painting is very small. It's such a niche craft that I'm like, are there even 50,000 people in America that know what a door hanger is? Like in my mind, I thought, and if there are they all on Facebook? Would they ever find me? Is that even possible? So in my mind, I wasn't even sure if it was possible to get past like 50,000 because I wasn't sure that many people even knew what door hanger painting was or would want to know. But what I learned was that the more my page grew, I was it's a funny word to use, but I was like evangelizing door hanger painting. People did not know what it was, but I was creating my own customer. The more I did it, the more awareness I was bringing to the craft, and the more people were discovering it and wanting to learn more about it. So yeah, I hit over 100,000 and I was blown away. I'm like, wow, I didn't realize there were that many people interested. But the thing is there might not have been 100,000 people that knew about door hangers, but there were 100,000 plus people who were interested in crafts. And that bucket of people right there is endless. There are endless amount of people who want to learn about crafts. And you know as well as I do, as a crafter, we're always looking for the next thing we can make. And we never get tired of learning about new ways to make crafts. And so I just found that crafter and brought them into my world of door hanger painting.
That's genius. That's absolutely genius. So I hope everyone heard what Tamara shared was that she took the big pool and pulled out one specific technique or one specific process and used that to explode her individual audience. So I think that is amazing. And I'm tucking that away in the back of my mind. Let me ask you this. I know you have implemented something really, really fun that is amazing because you've been very consistent with it. But tell me what it's called. Friday Fab Fives, I think.
You got it. Yeah. Every Friday, we do something called Friday Fab Five. I do it on Friday mornings at a specific time, 9:30 a.m. Central. And I kind of feel like it's almost like a weekly television show, but it's on Facebook. And now we also live stream to YouTube as well. So I'm trying to double grow my audience there as well. It was something we started about 2 years ago because I wanted to start growing my affiliate income off of Amazon and all these other places. And I always have people asking me, where did you get the t-shirt you have on? Where did you get those earrings? Where can I find paintbrushes like that? What kind of wood do you use? Oh, that's a cute cup you're drinking out of. You know, like as you're painting or doing anything on Facebook, they're noticing all the little things about what you're doing and they want to know where you got the things. And because they are your trusted audience that shows up every week, they trust you. And if you give them a link to purchase that thing, they know that because they've seen you using it week after week after week, that it must be a good thing to buy, right? And so I wanted to start growing my affiliate income. But more importantly than that, I wanted to start showing up consistently for my audience in another way other than just teaching or painting. And it became more about, instead of teaching, I wanted to be connecting with them and giving value at the same time. And I feel a little bit uncomfortable just getting on Facebook Live and just talking, just without having something to do with my hands. And so by having 5 of my favorite things, it could be a recipe, a podcast episode, a favorite new set of brushes, a new paint. Sometimes it's just like something I bought on Amazon that I'm using in my kitchen and I love it. By having those 5 things, it gave me something to talk about, something to do with my hands because I'm usually showing the product or showing how it works. And I was able to make a little bit of affiliate income. And at the same time, I was able to connect with my audience because I would say things like, has anybody else tried this? And of course, they're answering in the comments. And I can say, oh, great. I see that Cindy has tried this recipe before. What did you think about it? And so there's a back and forth conversation there. And even though I'm not painting and it really has nothing to do with my specific niche, people show up every single Friday for it. And I've had so many women tell me, I love your Friday Fab Five. I can't tell you how many of your things I have purchased, and they have become my favorite things. And these new recipes you give us, we use them to cook for our families. And so they're finding value in it, and it's building that trust factor with my audience. So, and also we've released 5 new door hanger designs every Friday. So it gives me an excuse to come on and talk about those. Because at the end of the Fab Five, I'll be like, oh, before you go, let me show you the new designs we've released this week. And so I can show them the new designs without feeling super salesy. I can come on and share value and then share something I'm selling.
That is awesome. So you have literally figured out a way to tie in selling on the back end of building the trust factor.
Yeah.
And the natural thing is for them to be like, well, yes, we've had an amazing morning. Let me just buy all of your new things. Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
It all goes back to serving though. You've got to serve your audience, and it doesn't matter how you're serving them. As long as you're providing value, they'll keep coming back.
I agree. Well, let me ask you, how on earth, because I know you said you have littles and I know you're a busy mama and all the things that a lot of people listening go through. So how did you stay focused? How did you continue to be consistent with this Friday Fab Five? It blows me away that you do not really miss. So what is the secret?
Well, I have missed a time or two, but if I know that I'm going to be out of town, I've gotten in the habit now of pre-recording that and setting it to schedule to run almost as, what do they call that? A premiere on Facebook where it premieres live. So they're watching it live, but I'm not actually live. It's pre-recorded. So there are a few occasions, and really it's probably no more than 5 times in a year that I have to do that. But I just selected a time of day that I knew I could be consistent at. And it began back when my daughter was in preschool. And I knew at that time of day on a Friday, she was going to be at preschool and I didn't have to pick her up until 11 o'clock. So 9:30 was perfect. It gave me time to prepare, time to do the live, and then time to go get her at school. And so you just have to figure out what works for you. That wasn't necessarily the perfect time for my audience. I know I probably could do it at 8 p.m. on a Sunday night and get a lot more viewers. But in order to be consistent, it had to work for me.
I love that. A lot of us know that that evening slot is best because people, for all the reasons, are at home, ready and waiting to be entertained. But you do, I love the wisdom with you have to work with what works for you in order to be consistent, which over the long term will be what helps grow your audience.
Exactly. If you can't be consistent at it, it's not going to work for you. And then it's not going to work for your audience. So it has to work for you first before it can even begin to be consistent.
Mm-hmm. And the people love that. Like they will come back if they know they can what to expect, right?
Yes. And
that's
a lot
part
of them do watch it on the replay.
Yeah. So let me ask you, what advice would you give yourself back when you just had 1,000 followers? I know it's always hard and it seems like such a slow grow. What would you, looking back across, where are you at right now?
I'm at 243,000 followers.
Wow. So looking back, what would you tell yourself?
To just relax, to be yourself. Don't feel like you have to hit a certain number of views or a certain number of comments or shares. It's all going to work out because I know I used to get down on myself if I missed a day and I wasn't super consistent, but and sometimes I would feel like if I started something, I had to keep it going. And then I would keep it going even to the point where it wasn't working for me anymore. And it took me a long time to change things up. So if I had to do it all over again, I'd just say, if it doesn't work for you, throw it out and try something else.
Right away. Mm-hmm. For your own mental, health. So what motivates you? What inspires you through the hard times?
Actually, it's some of these women that tell me that learning to paint has changed their lives. It's provided some financial freedom for them. It's taken pressure off of their spouse because they're now able to help provide for the family and their spouse doesn't have to work overtime in order to make that extra money. But even when it's not about the money, some of these women talk about how it's benefited them mentally, especially during COVID and quarantine. They've been able to find something that's been therapeutic and relaxing, and it's just been so good for them. And so that knowing that I'm helping provide that really fills my cup.
I love that. And what has it done for you having an audience?
It feels like a super supportive community that I can show up for, and there's instant love there. And I feed off of that. And so when I see familiar names popping up on that Fab Five Friday, it makes me feel so good to know that they came back to see me again. So,
aw, how sweet. Well, thank
warm
you.
Fuzzies.
You are an amazing inspiration, and I just love learning from you. You're awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on and sharing everything. And where can we find you online?
You can find me at Southern Adornments Decor across all the platforms.
All the platforms. I love it. What are your platforms?
Oh, we've got Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. That's the fun new one that I love to do. It's fun. It's completely different. You can be silly on there and you can still serve people. Of course, we're also on Pinterest and, oh goodness, I'm probably forgetting some. Just search Southern Adornments Decor. I will come up in all the places. And
tell us how you spell adornments.
We actually spell it with 2 O's because, of course, we paint door hangers. So the word door in the middle has 2 O's.
Super cute. We won't forget now. Thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, my friend, for listening to the podcast. I'm blessed every single time you come back and listen to an episode. It's especially amazing when you share it with others on social media. So be sure to follow Creatives on Fire online. Listen, if you have not already done so, I want you to go ahead and download the 5 ideas I personally used to explode my online audience growth to a 6-figure following. You can find that at creativesonfirepodcast.com. I appreciate you, and until next time, stay inspired.